There's actually two different ways we're utilizing this tool. One of the very important ways we're using it is called Raids Online, which is the public-facing site. So somebody in a neighborhood could get on Raids Online if they were curious about the criminal activity in their town or in their neighborhood specifically. They can get on Raids Online and they can actually see the incidences as they've occurred over the course of history, and you have the ability to look at a few of the details of what occurred, to include the actual crime that occurred, with some date ranges, so you can really narrow your search. And so that's a really important tool for our neighborhoods, because oftentimes we get telephone calls from people wanting to know, is this a safe neighborhood to live in? Where should they move? Do we have any sexual predators living in our neighborhood? So they have an opportunity to do some of the homework themselves, and that's an important piece of what we're offering to the public. The second piece of this is ATAC raids, which is more specific for law enforcement. It's sensitive to law enforcement. It has up to 95 different fields or captured fields in that we can use for our predictive policing model. So it's what we build our analysis around, it's what we build our predictive policing model after, and it's what really helps us deploy our resources in an efficient and effective way. We're trying to push as much information to our officers as possible. It's a very complex job. They work very, very hard in this environment to try and do as much as they can with the resources that are available to them. So it's important for me to push the information to our officers in the field. We want them in the field, and we want them to have every available piece of information that we can give them. What this does for them is it helps them in the geo-based policing philosophy, where they're owning a district, they're understanding what's going on in their district. What this does is it pushes information to them to tell them where they should be spending their time. If we can predict where officers should be at different times of the day, days of the week, weeks of the month, then officers can really formulate a good strategy about where they should be to help interdict crime or deter crime. And that's really what this is about, is trying to create a safe community through predictive policing.
So another way we're using attack raids is the ability to do geographic profiling. That's when we identify an operating area of an offender. This might be the area where he's either working, living, maybe it's a drug house he's frequenting. But while he's in those areas, he's identifying victims. He's targeting people. Once we find out what that area is, we can apply resources there to both identify who the offender is, but also either arrest them or prevent the crimes.
This is probably as unique as anything that's been going on in the Pacific Northwest, if not this side of the country. To be able to have two counties come together with all the different jurisdictions and agree to allow each other to see each other's crime data is big for law enforcement. That is a huge advance for law enforcement. And what it does, it's a force multiplier for us. So when we're having issues here in Richland, and we've got some key pieces of information on some incidents that we're seeing here in Richland, we're able to take a look at crime data from the two-county area, 300,000 people in the metro area. We're able to take a look at crime data that stretches across boundaries and jurisdictions to help us solve that crime. And the other jurisdictions are able to do that as well. And so when we talk about how collaborative this area has been, we've done a great job partnering on teams and coming to each other's rescue when it comes to operational issues. But really, this regional effort through crime analysis and sharing of crime data is absolutely on the front edge of what it's going to take to be predictive in policing.